So economic crisis. First we'll discuss crisis, then we'll discuss measures, then we'll move on to 8th 5-year plan. So there are two types of factors that triggered the economic crisis in India. First one is international factors and second one is domestic factors. So you write first one, international factors. First one you write disintegration of Soviet Union. Disintegration of Soviet Union. After putting a colon you write one line explanation. India was exporting its 25% exports. India was exporting its 25% of exports to Soviet Union, but after its disintegration, our export earning has started falling down. Our export earning had started falling down. Next point. Next point is Gulf War of 1990. Gulf War of 1990 reduced the amount of remittances which India was receiving from the Middle East region full stop. Next point, crude oil prices shot up due to America's intervention in the Gulf War. Crude oil prices shot up due to America's intervention in Gulf War. Next one, high level of debt was the main reason. High level of debt was the main reason in eroding India's international credibility. Okay, these are the four major factors that triggered economic crisis of the year 1990. Do you have any doubt in all these 4 points? Okay. Move on to the domestic factors. First one you write political instability threatened the sentiments of investors. Which led to lack of domestic private investment. Second one, high levels of current account deficit and fiscal deficit, high levels of current account deficit and fiscal deficit, which led to increase in the borrowing cost, in bracket you write deficit financing from RBI, in bracket you write deficit financing from RBI. Do you understand the word deficit financing? Anyone? It means if you experience any deficit in the budget, it means a temporary mismatch between your revenue and expenditure. You will finance that deficit by printing new currency. And who will print new currency? RBI. So pumping fresh currency in the country. Second one, excessive deficit financing. Excessive deficit financing led to the erosion in the value of rupee, full stop. Same point, after full stop you write RBI overvalued its currency for quite a long period of time. What do you understand, or what do you mean by this overvalued rupee? Any idea? Fixed exchange rate. It means if you are pumping extra currency in the country, I'll explain this in balance of payment module, but just for the sake of understanding from this perspective, if you are pumping extra rupee in the country, so it means the supply of rupee will go up vis-a-vis dollar. So it means the value of rupee should go down, but RBI is keeping the exchange rate constant and pumping fresh currency in the country. So actual value of rupee must be somewhere a depreciated value. This is 70 hai, so maybe 75. But RBI keep on continuing with this 70 level mark. So that is the meaning of keeping rupee overvalued. Right now there is no concept like overvaluation of money in Indian economy. We have this in Chinese economy. Okay, yesterday in the newspaper it was covered that will China devalue its currency by keeping the current trend in mind, because rupee depreciated as much as any other developing country, Asian country. What will be the impact? What will be the next step of China? Because in the last 20 years China experienced first time its trade deficit. First time trade deficit. So I don't know what they will do to increase their exports. Another domestic factor is low level of foreign exchange reserve. Low level of foreign exchange reserves to tackle outflow of foreign capital. Next one, excessive protection given to industries. Against the concept of infant industry argument. So I think you should write what is infant industry argument. So in bracket or anywhere at last you can write It refers to a situation where government has to protect particular industries at the initial stages of its development, so that it will stand still in future against the competition coming from abroad. Full stop. That's it. Next point under domestic. Exorbitant levels of tariff and quotas. Exorbitant level of tariffs and quotas. That's it. These are the important points. Now you can imagine that if you are charging 400% custom duty, who will come here in India? No one. So exorbitant rate of tariffs and quotas. You cannot bring certain kind of goods beyond a certain limit. Quotas related to quantity of a commodity. Tariffs are related to the value of that particular commodity. Getting my point? We'll discuss these in details in taxation. But exorbitant level of tariffs and quotas. India, yeah. We still have, yes. On steel recently, we have implemented tariff. Steel coming from South Korea and Japan. Chaudhary Virender Singh continuously giving statement, Minister of Steel. He was continuously giving that Indian industry should be protected by the government for next 6 months. Anti-dumping, yeah. Because the cheap steel imports coming from South Korea and Japan is hurting Indian steel industries. Because that steel is cheaper than India. So Indian people are preferring imported steel, not domestic steel. So against the anti-dumping duty, we'll discuss in tariffs and quotas in taxation part. Indian government is protecting steel industry for just 6 months so that they can able to stand still with the inflow of that cheap imports. China is producing around 700 million tons steel per year. Second one is Japan, 110 million tons. See the difference, 789 and 110. Then third is India, around 93. So India is the third largest producer of steel in the world market. But cheap imports coming from South Korea and Japan is hurting Indian industry. It's very difficult to digest. Getting my point? So this was the scenario at the time of economic crisis. We left with around 15 days of our foreign exchange reserves. You understand the term import cover? I discussed in crash course. Import cover. I think question भी आया एक बार import cover. Pre का question है import cover का. Import cover means suppose India is having around $400+ billion foreign exchange reserves, and per month Indian import valued at $60 billion. It means these $400 billion is sufficient for how many months? So 60 into months. So 6 is 36. So maybe more than 6 months. If we will not receive any dollar from today, we are able to import same amount of goods for the next 6 months. That is the meaning of import cover. It means for the next 6 months, our imports are covered with our foreign exchange reserves. So at that time, we were having only the import cover of 15 days. Only a fortnight, 2 weeks. And the comfortable position of import cover is 6 months. And currently we are having around 9+ months, 9.5 months, current situation. So you can imagine the severity of condition, only of 15 days. So at that time what happened? What is the solution to this crisis? Do you have any idea? What will you do? All the scenarios in front of you. Now you just have to imagine what are the solutions. What can we do here in order to revive from this situation? Any idea? First, devalue currency, that's the first step. So I've told you about, we have devalued currency 3 times, 48, 66 and 91. IMF, we have to take help from foreign organization, foreign countries. So we put our gold in Bank of England, borrowed some money. Then again, there are conditionalities of International Monetary Fund. IMF, you asked the question of IMF. Conditionality of IMF. If we are taking loan from International Monetary Fund, it will not come directly. Like if you are asking money, 10,000 rupees. आपके पेरेंट्स भी सोच के देते हैं बेटा क्या है, रेंट देना है, खाने का है कि क्या है. It will come with some conditions. Getting my point? So if India is receiving some kind of bailout, you understand the word bailout? I'll explain. If you are receiving some kind of funds as an assistant from International Monetary Fund, World Bank or any other organization, it will come with some conditions that you have to follow these kind of steps in order to avail this loan. Like what is happening in the current situation in Greece. I think in the yesterday newspaper or day before yesterday, Hindu covered about the recovery of Greek economy. The currency of Greek, that is euro. But before euro, was local currency. So what are the demerits and merits of adopting euro? That were extensively covered in newspaper. So what happened? Bailout, number 1. Second one is devaluation of currency. So we'll write one by one, then we'll explain. So remedies to encounter this crisis. First one is getting foreign assistance. Getting foreign assistance. Getting foreign assistance from IMF and Bank of England. Bank of England is the central bank of United Kingdom. Full stop. The amount came from IMF. The amount came from IMF carries some kind of conditions. Known as conditionality. So put quote unquote and write conditionality. Conditionality. Full stop. If IMF gives loan assistance, to a particular country, it gives certain procedures and provisions. It gives certain procedures and provisions to be followed by the receiving country. To be followed by the receiving country. So one by one we write all the conditionalities. Number one, liberalizing the economy. Liberalizing the economy for foreign firms. For foreign firms. Next one, reducing current account deficit and fiscal deficit. Reducing current account deficit and fiscal deficit. So in bracket you write twin deficits. Current account deficit and fiscal deficit. Next one, easing the tariff policies. Easing the tariff policies. Easing the tariff policies. Easing the tariff policies. Next one, reducing the interest rates. Reducing the interest rates. Next one, reforms in financial sector. Reforms in financial sector. Next one, increase the tax base. Increase the tax base. Next one, diversification of the sectors of economy. Diversification of the sectors of economy. Diversification of the sectors of economy. Next one, development of infrastructure. Development of infrastructure. Development of infrastructure to provide assistance to banking industry. And bridge the gap between rural and urban financial facilities. So this last one given by World Bank. So you write last one given by World Bank. Now just understand all these important points one by one. The main role of IMF. If I will say that, can you please explain the role of International Monetary Fund in the international financial market in one line? What is the main motive of International Monetary Fund? To correct the balance of payment of developing countries, mainly because developed countries do not often face the problem of balance of payment. They have enough foreign exchange reserve, they have enough surplus amount to make a cushion. But to correct the balance of payment situation of developing country is the main role of IMF. Talking about World Bank, the main role is development and reconstruction. Previous name of IBRD, World Bank का पहला नाम था ना, International Bank for Reconstruction and Development, established after Second World War. So that is why the last point belongs to World Bank. But these were the conditions given by IMF, or what we can say Washington Consensus. So you will find this term in some literature, some books, that Washington Consensus reforms. So UPSC can ask like this. World Bank and IMF is known as Bretton Woods twins. So these substitute terms, they keep on asking. They ask some new term, concept remains the same. They will ask, what was the idea behind Washington Consensus? They will think that, is this the question of economy, history, or what not? So Washington Consensus means the consensus between a country and the Bretton Woods twins. The headquarters of IMF and World Bank is in Washington. So consensus between these two organizations and India. So you have to write about reforms. Getting my point? So we'll discuss one by one. Talking about tariffs and quotas, at that time I already told you about that it was 400% custom duty, excise duty was also high, income tax rate was also high. So it means the tax base at that time was narrow. I'll explain extensively what is tax base, because we'll discuss GST, and government is claiming that after the implementation of GST we have increased the tax base. It means the number of people coming in the tax bracket, in simple sense, that is tax base. So at that time IMF said that in order to increase the revenue, you remember last 2 5-year plans, 6th and 7th, I was saying that there was a low tax base. That is why we were not able to capitalize on a tax revenue. So IMF said that we should increase the tax base so that Indian government will receive more tax revenue. Getting my point? So this is simple sense, reduce the tax rate so that a lot of people will come under the tax bracket. If you are charging tax, suppose beyond 10 lakh income, you are charging 50% income tax. What do you think? People will hide their income. If you are saying that 5% income tax rate beyond 1 lakh of income, then the cost of tax evasion will be more. Suppose in future you will be caught, then the penalty will be huge. But talking about 50% income tax, penalty will be more or less same as the tax amount. छापा पड़ जाए उसी में खुश है जब देखांगे, ठीक है? So I think it makes some sense. After that, other factors like, at that time the main policy rate was CRR. Right now the main policy rate is repo rate. We'll discuss inflation tomorrow, we'll cover all these rates. At that time CRR was the main policy rate. What's the current rate of CRR? 4%. At that time it was 15%. Tomorrow I'll tell you what is CRR, then you will understand the gravity of this from 4% to 15%. Talking about SLR, right now is 19.5%. At that time 38.5%. Exact figures, these are not approximate, exact figures. So you can understand 15 plus 38.5, 53.5%. If you are about to open a bank, if you have 100 crore of capital, 53.5 crore you have to keep with maybe RBI, because this fund will go to RBI and this will go to your locker. It means you cannot use these 53.5 crore. How will you do business? So IMF said that you should reduce the CRR and SLR so that banks have more funds at their disposal. Getting my point? About tariff, quota, custom, these were also very high. Okay. Apart from this external situation, by pumping extra money, extra rupee, borrowing from RBI, the devaluation in currency was suggested by International Monetary Fund, because RBI deliberately keeping the rupee overvalued. So IMF said that you should devalue the currency in order to get the exact value. Now what are the demerits of reducing the interest rate? There are some demerits, because if you reduce the interest rate, you will experience outflow of foreign capital. If I am getting 9% rate of return in India and getting 4% rate of return in US, where will you invest? India. If by the time policy rates are coming down, suppose in India the interest rate is 6% and in US you have 4%, and you are a US citizen, where will you invest? You will again say India because of 2%, but there is a exchange risk. So it's better to invest in your country. So this is the biggest demerit. If RBI is reducing the policy rate, then there may be a risk of outflow of capital. That's what we are experiencing. That is why in the two recent monetary policy meeting, RBI hiked the repo rate just to ease out that outflow of foreign funds. Getting my point? Any point left in the discussion that you need me to explain? Anyone? Any point which looks difficult to understand? Clear? Diversification of the sector means before 1991 we were having or focused on mainly agriculture and industry. So now the new scope opened by introducing a lot of new services, financial services, establishment of National Stock Exchange in the 1994. So open the new avenues of taxation, that is service tax. Getting my point? So diversification of your economy. It means if your base of the economy will go up, go widen, then what will you do? You will earn more revenue. The contribution towards GDP will go up. And ultimately the total GDP growth rate will also go up. That's the main thing, diversification of sectors in the economy. Okay, shall we move on to 8th 5-year plan? So the period was 1992 to 1997. 8th 5-year plan, 1992 to 1997. So it is self-understood, we can say why from 1990 we have not started this 8th 5-year plan due to economic crisis. So 8th 5-year plan, so write few lines, then we'll explain. It is a successful plan. It is a successful plan. India achieved the growth rate beyond 5%. India achieved the growth rate of beyond 5% in every year of this 8th plan. In every year of this 8th plan. Full stop. India started attracting a lot of foreign capital. India started attracting a lot of foreign capital. Due to the implementation of policies like liberalization of industries, abolition of licensing system, privatization such as less government control on majority of industries, government's role changed from regulator to facilitator, India's planning approach changed from imperative planning imperative planning to indicative planning. I'll explain these two words. Just write. From imperative planning to indicative planning, comma, reforms like financial sector reforms like financial sector reforms suggested by Narasimham Committee, financial sector reforms like suggested by Narasimham Committee in 1992. In 1992, in bracket you write reducing the key policy rates. Reducing the key policy rates, comma, establishment of National Stock Exchange. Establishment of National Stock Exchange. In bracket you write biggest stock exchange of our country. Biggest stock exchange of our country. Comma, entry of private sector banks. Entry of private sector banks. Entry of private sector banks in order to provide more credit opportunities in the economy. So yeah, that's it, full stop. There are n number of reforms, list of reforms, but these are the major ones. You will find all the reforms in your printed notes. Whatever I am teaching in the class, you just go home and repeat the same chapter. I've given by order. So that's it for today. Thank you.